Hi, I'm Renee Smith.
And I'm Tammy Fellers, and we're math consultants at ESDAC in Hutchinson, Kansas. Today we're here to talk about one of our nifty number decks. We've expanded our place value decks. We already have some for some of the upper grades. We wanted to bring a deck that's really just for kindergarten. You may still have some first graders who need to go back and capitalize on that.
Especially at the first of the year.
Absolutely. But so today we're here to talk to you about our place value deck for kindergarten.
So one of the things that we thought was really important was that in this particular deck, our pictorial representations actually matched your base 10 sets at school, because we know that a lot of your kindergartners are going to need to actually do an activity called Build It. And we're going to give them a card, and we're going to actually have them use the base 10 blocks to build that representation so that they can then manipulate it and move the pieces if they need to and count them. And so Tammy, why don't you do that with one of those cards that has both the tens rods and the unit cubes?
Right, because as we look at this, sometimes a kindergartner has trouble going 1, 2 and not hitting a box more than once, and our goal is that we're developing, they understand, boom, and see that that's 10, but it's not there right now. So they may have to build it, and they may actually build it with their ones and be able to place those, and they lay right on there, and then I am able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm able to manipulate and move. So we have made our cards so that you can use your manipulatives along with them for those students that need that, or you believe the students that need that.
Another activity that we thought was really important was typically you only see 13 displayed in one way, with 1 tens rod and 3 tens like Tammy just showed us. But obviously you could have 13 unit cubes and have a child do some one-to-one correspondence practice. I mean, there would be some of our cards where, because of the placement on the card, like the one Tammy just used, that allows a child to actually start to subbatize and see that that's 2 without counting, or see that 2 and 1 and they know that makes 3, and so a lot of different things could come from this. But we wanted to have both of those representations in our numbers from 10 to 20. And so Tammy, I've picked 6 different cards, and it's a matching activity now. And so you're supposed to find 2 cards that match each other in quantity, even though their representations look differently. So show us how we would do that.
So I'm just going to choose this card up here, and I'm going to count them.
Good job, Tammy.
Yeah, good job.
Good one-to-one correspondence.
I didn't need to build that. Some kids will need to put those green, or whatever color your base 10 is, put them on there and physically move them to count it. You'll have kids advanced that don't need to do that. There's 13, and I find the other 13, and here it is. And in this deck of cards, the lowest number is 10. And
the highest is 50.
The highest is 50, but from 10 through 20, there is 2 10s, 2 11s, 2 12s, and it's the unit cubes, and it's the representation with a base 10 and a unit cube, or however many is appropriate for that number. And part of that is because we're really working on that unitizing. Oh my, what happens after not, what happens to those numbers? So you could then do a matching, and Renee could pick 2 cards, and we can go through that type of an activity. And you as a teacher would just pull those cards.
Okay, so let's look at something else that we can do within this deck. So I have chosen a couple of more cards. And in this particular instance, Tammy and I might take turns again and determine how many is on each of our cards. And then the task might be, now represent that in a different way. So we developed a task or an accountability sheet, and on that, if Tammy has the one that has 30, another way that she could represent that, she could just color in.
I could still color in 2 10 rods potentially, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Better stop there.
Better stop there. That's 30.
So that's 30. So again, helping kids decompose and understand 30 might be 2 10s and 10 1s.
And actually on this particular sheet, they would have another option. They could do 1 10 and 21s as another potential option, but we would hope that they could do this one based upon the cards that we've given them.
And so again, it could be picking the card that has the 1, 10, and 3 ones on it, and making sure that they understand that's 13 ones.
Right.
So that's just another example of an activity you could do with this deck.
And then a final activity that we picked to show you today was that we could also start to reinforce those numerals because a lot of our children, have difficulty with that. And so again, we've included in the task sheet information a set of cards that are the numerals from 10 to 20. And so again, we can start to build that fact that they have a pictorial representation as well as a matching numeral, and even we've developed even a task sheet template that can go into the numbers beyond 20 that you can create your own template as you go. So again, it can be a matching, just as easy as drawing a line, and we've given you a blank one of those as well to help you be able to do any numbers that are appropriate for your grade.
So within this deck are the numbers from 10 to 20 represented in both the efficient fashion, if you will,
Yes.
and then through unit cubes. And then between 20 and 50, just some random numbers that
Can be we represented them some in the most efficient manner using the base 10 rods as well as, the tens rods as well as the unit cubes. And some of them we did in a little bit different manner.
And you will also notice some of the time our cards, even taking a look at this card here, sometimes we group them in a way that a kid could subitize part of it. Oh, hey, there's 3, and then start counting.
Right.
Some we did to make them look like the dice pattern. Some we did 100% random, but really it gave you the flexibility to be able to go, hey, I could pull these cards and ask them this question around that.
What's so nice about that is a lot of our children really do have difficulty in kindergarten with that one-to-one correspondence. This would give them a lot of practice with that.
Through a lot of different activities just from one deck of cards.
Right.
Thank you for joining us today.